There we go. That's a fish. Oh yeah, it's a nice one. Now in today's video, we're targeting drop-offs to get the trout. A little better one this time. Real nice fish. Yeah, they do that. Nice. What color? Oh, all right. Yeah, I was thinking of going to two-tone. There you go. Oh, goldfish it is.
I know it doesn't look like it, but the bite was really tough on this trip. After fishing multiple locations and battling high wind everywhere we went, we finally started getting some bites.
That goldfish is so hot right now. Yeah, decent one. Yeah, from the splashing, I thought. Finally, and that goldfish. Good looking fish. A little better one this time. Go. All right, ladies and gents, going to take a quick break from the action to show you what's happening out there and how I'm catching these fish. I'll start off with the rod and reel I normally use. This is a 7'6" ultralight spinning rod with a 1000 series reel. This is a Katana custom rod. It's specifically designed to throw mini jigs and these ball head minnows, very ultralight baits for trout. For a reel, I have a Shimano Vanquish 1000 SSSSP. Really nice setup. It's a very spendy setup. However, if you want to try fishing these types of baits like the mini jigs and the minnows, you can use any ultralight trout rod, preferably 7'6" to 8 foot in length, and any 500 or 1000 series reel, spinning reel. Now, the most important thing when you're trying to get or trying to fish these ultralight baits is your line, because the hardest part is getting a good cast. With these baits are so light, they can be difficult to cast if you have heavy line and a heavier setup. So what I have spooled on here is a Sinister Strand premium fiber braid in 4-pound, and then I run that up to a fluorocarbon leader of 5-pound Runkle Power Fluoro. but braid can be difficult to use if you're not used to it. So you can start out using fluorocarbon or even monofilament. I usually recommend a 2 to 4 pound test. Once you get into the 6s, especially with the fluorocarbon and the mono, it starts getting a little bit thick and it makes it a lot more difficult to cast. So if you start out spooling up some 2 or some 4 pound, you should be able to get away with it and make some decent casts. See if you like fishing in this style, and then eventually, if you want, you can upgrade to the braid. Now let's go to the bench and I'll show you the baits that are working out there and how I set them up. So I'll give you some of the highlights of the baits that were working the best. This here's a mini jig called Goldfish, made by Golden State Fishing Custom Baits. Obviously got a kind of white and bright gold sheen to it. Works really, really good. It seems everywhere. This bait's really becoming hot. And then later in the video, you'll see I was using this Spartan minnow, also made by Golden State. This is called Desert Locust. Really, really good color. Like the mini jig version, we had a lot of success with up in Montana, if you've seen that video. But I'll show you how I rig these up. We'll start with the mini jig. And there's 2 types of weights you can put in a mini jig. Well, there's really more, but the 2 we use primarily is a smaller one's a 32nd and the larger one's a 1/16. And in the Sierras, we typically use the 1/16 because, like I said, it's deeper water, and we want it to get down to more columns of water so we can present it to more fish. The 32nd, typically we use that in shallower water, but not always, and there's always exceptions. So I'll show you how I rig these jigs up, and there's 2 ways to do it. Usually I will start with the skirt end, and I'll put the eye of the hook inside the tube from the skirt and carefully slide it up without ripping it all the way to the top. And then I use my thumb and push on that and push the little eyelet through, and it's all set to go. Another way to do it, and a lot of guys that don't use clips like I do or tie on, is you can go through the top of the jig. Now, where you want to put your hole or put the point of the hook is in the hole where you want this eyelet to end up. So on the side near the top, carefully slide the point of the hook in, carefully work it around through the tube so it doesn't re-puncture it, and then just slide that jig, because this rubber moves quite a bit right around the jig without tearing, and pull it forward, and you got it hooked up. Now, the cool thing about this method is you can have your line tied onto here and you don't have to retie. So you just pull the cap back carefully, slide the tip of the lead out, and slowly pull it out, and then you're ready to put another jig color on if that's what you want to do. Now with these minnows, we got the ball head weights, and basically same principle as the mini jig. The smaller one's a 32nd, larger one's a 16th. And same way you fish them. The 16ths we usually use in deeper water, 32nds in more shallow water. So how you hook these on is I always like to start with the back or the spine of the minnow. As you can see, it's rounded down at the bottom here. That would be the belly, and the back's more the spine. So I start about where the nose would be on a real minnow, and I put the hook straight in and carefully push the minnow so it's going right around the bend of the hook. Once it's around the bend of the hook, I straighten it out and carefully pop the point of the hook out right through the middle of the spine, and it comes out looking pretty straight, just like that. And that's all there is to it. All right, now in today's video, we're targeting drop-offs to get the trout. Given the time of year, it's warmer. A lot of the creeks that flow into the lakes we fish have either dried up or down to a trickle. So our intakes, there's not a whole bunch of fish there. So it's always worth a look, but we weren't finding a lot. So with the warmer weather, the fish are hanging out a little bit deeper. So we're looking at drop-offs. And drop-offs are also important because, as I say in other videos, trout are predators, and they will ambush fish or bugs or any aquatic creatures that are in the water. And those creatures or fish tend to hang out in the shallows so they can hide from the bigger fish and these predators. So what the trout will do is they will hang out in the deeper water right off these drop-offs and swim up and try and ambush these smaller bait fish that are sitting in the shallows right on the edge of the drop-off. So it's always a good place to check, and that's where we ended up finding some of the fish and having a little bit of success. And as you can see in these clips, like out here at Virginia, you can see the big steep drop-off right in front of me. We went up to Trumbull Lake, hiked around, tried some shallow areas, but then we ended up on the rocks, found a nice drop-off, and Esty hooked up one. And then in this clip that you'll see later, where it's silver in the kayaks, you can see the bottom. It looks a little shallow, but we are about 5 to 10 feet back from a drop-off. So we're sitting in the shallow water, casting into the drop-off, into the deeper water, and trying to get fish that way. Now, most important is how are we working the baits to get bit? Esty tends to use the mini jigs. On this trip, I think I'm using exclusively Minnows on a 1/16 ball head, and Esty's using a 1/16 ounce mini jig. Because it's deeper water, and the jig will have an opportunity to fall when we work it back slower, so it covers more columns of water. So if you're using a 1/32 ounce, for instance, in deeper water, it's a lot more difficult because the jig won't fall as fast during your retrieve, and your retrieve will actually pull the jig up higher in the water column, and you aren't working as many columns of water as you would with a 16th, a much heavier jig. So that's why we tend to fish the 16th ounce mini jigs and minnows in the Sierras, because it's just deeper water. So as you can see in this clip, you work them exactly the same, just light, slow rod bounces and real slow reel cranks. And as slow as you can go without allowing the jig or the minnow to end up in the bottom and end up dragging the bottom. Sometimes with the 16th, you're going a little bit faster if you're in shallower water per se, or like in this clip, we were working a drop off in shallow water, but casting into the deeper water. So when it came close to the drop off, I was speeding up my retrieve to keep it off the bottom, so it was in view of the fish longer. And that's really all there is to it. When you're working these baits back, you gauge your retrieve speed on if you start having contact with the bottom, go a little bit slower. If you're not having contact, or I'm sorry, if you're having contact with the bottom, go a little bit faster.
Wake up, idiot!
And if you are not having contact with the bottom, go a little bit slower. Kind of figure out where that zone is so you can keep your bait in front of as many fish as possible. So with that, hope you all learned something. I certainly do every time I'm out fishing. And let's get back to the rest of the video and see what happened. Kids get stuff. There we go. That's a fish. Finally. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. On that desert locust, son. That's a real nice fish. That's probably 3 or a 4. He is not very happy. Booyakasha. Oh, he's a solid 4, might be a 5. Yeah, desert locust. No, you're fine. There she goes. Got a good one too. Take it easy. You got it. Just take your time with it. Yeah, nice fish. I know, yeah. They're fired up. First fish in the new boat. Yo! Yeah, Kirsty's on. I just got bit. All right. Yeah, it's a nice fish. Get your net ready. There you go. Real nice fish. Yeah, they do that. Okay, just don't. There you go. Outstanding. Now, just kick that under your leg. Perfect. There you go. All right, ladies and gents, there you have it. This time of year in the Sierras, as it's getting warmer right before fall, sometimes can be tough. We had a lot of struggles with wind, finding the fish first of all, and then even finding them, getting them to bite. But you keep at it. Use the knowledge that you have. Try and figure out where the structure is, where the fish are going to be. Like in this case, we were looking at drop-offs and we found some. The intakes weren't any good, outtakes weren't any good. Flats didn't seem to be working. They seem to be a little bit deep, but they like to be close, at least the ones that are feeding, close to that drop-off because they're chasing food or chasing bait. In next video, I'm going to be fishing out at Crowley, and I found a bunch in the flats, real shallow water. So you never know. All the lakes are different. The weather conditions will be similar up there, but the water is different at every lake, so the fish are going to behave differently. So just go through that checklist, figure out if the fish aren't in one place, try the next place. You know, if they aren't at an intake or there's no intake, try a drop-off. If they aren't at the drop-off or biting at the drop-off, try a flat, shallow area. And that's the best you can do. If they aren't biting at that lake, move on to the next one. See if you can find some biters that way, and really that's all we do. So with that, if you want any of the fine products I use on this channel, like the Golden State Fishing custom baits or the katana rods, there's a QR code right up here that will take you to a link tree that has links, hyperlinks, as well as all the discount codes, whether you want the Waterland sunglasses, the katana rods, the GSF custom baits, True Dave waders, I think high sea waders. I have a whole bunch of stuff on there. It's all really good stuff that I use all the time. So give them a look, and you can get a discount on any of the products if you choose to buy them. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them here. You can also hit me up on my Instagram at Sea Spanker Outdoors. If you like what's going on here, give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps the channel. If you didn't like it, I appreciate you staying on as long as you did. Coming up, got a lot of videos planned. The summer was kind of rough for me as far as the fishing. Had a lot of family stuff, nothing bad, just real busy summer with the family. So I'm back at it and gonna be putting out a lot of videos. I'm working on a first timer pyramid video for those of you that want to get up to pyramid. Got a few more Crowley videos coming down the pipe, a whole bunch of stuff. And trout season's just about to start up again. So lots of interesting stuff coming your way. And I'm real excited, re-energized, and want to get back at it and get back out there and make some good content for y'all. So with that, hope to see you all out there, and tight lines.